And in fact, one of the underlying things in spreadsheets is that it has got algebra underneath it. Every time you do one of those formulas, that is really an algebraic formula, but it just has cell references in it rather than letters, which do include letters. Okay, so here, just find my answers, because it's really hard to think of them with 300 or so people watching you. Okay, so we'll define our variables. So we say let P be the profit in dollars. And it's really useful to give your variable all the time. Anyone who printed this off a few days earlier probably had this already in here. Let H be the number of hours worked. And notice I'm using variables that are similar, that can tell me, like when I look at it, when I go H, we go, oh yeah, that's hours, in hours. And then we'll say let R be the hourly rate. Okay, and as soon as we see that word rate, that means there's going to be a per in it. So our hourly rate is dollars per hour. And then we want let T be the cost to hire the trimmer. And that'll be in dollars as well. Now, why, you say to yourself, why am I bothering to use all these letters? Why don't I just use the numbers instead? And it's the same sort of rule as when we're doing the spreadsheets, is that things might change. It might be that the hire firm decides to charge more for your hedge trimmer, so you don't want to have to read all your sums again. If you've just got a formula there that you put it into, it's going to work much better. So our profit, if we come back to here, we had here our profit was the 150, which was the hours worked times the hourly rate, excuse me, minus the cost of the trimmer. Let's get a lolly. And so that was translated into variables into P equals HR. Now notice I don't put a times sign in there. Whenever we're using letters, we don't put a times sign in because it would look like an X and it's confusing. So when we have HR, it just means H times R, and then we're going to subtract the T. So say the trimmer cost $54, you charge $25 for 8 hours, so P equals HR minus T, which equals, you substitute, 8 hours times the rate, which is 25, minus the trimmer cost, which is 54, so that equals $146. Okay, so you're saying, well, how does algebra help? Now, if you're only doing one sum, it doesn't. But if we're going to be doing this over and over again, it's really handy just to have it worked out. It gives us a language which expresses concisely. See, this little thing here is much conciser than that. This is useful to know what we're doing. This is handy because it's nice and short. It's also universal. If somebody from another country who doesn't even speak English comes in and sees this, they will understand what's happening there. They'll go, okay, there's a thing called H and R getting multiplied, and then we're subtracting T, and that gives us P. The other thing that's useful about algebra is that it's a tool, and so we can use it to manipulate and to find out things much more easily than if we tried to do it without algebra. So the point is that we're trying to answer questions and solve problems, and rather than algebra being the purpose of our existence, it's something that's going to help us.